What is up, y'all? It's your girl Kayla, and we are back with another video. If you are new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome. I appreciate every single one of y'all who tune into these videos each and every week. And if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you are able to tune into my videos each and every time I upload, and you can follow me along my journey. So, I'm trying to get through this video without coughing, but every time I get like a few minutes in, I cough. I have a huge coughing fit. I'm not sick. I just have something stuck in my throat that refuses to leave. So, bear with me. We are trying to get through this. Oh gosh. So, if y'all have seen my last two videos, or if you just kind of read the title of this, you know that I had my second home insemination, aka my second IUI, and today is result day. I don't know how else to put it, but today is the final results. So, to make a long story short, I'm gonna then go back through and explain what happened. My IUI was successful, and I did manage to get pregnant. I took 3 different pregnancy tests, or 3 different brands on 3 different dates to confirm. So 10 days post ovulation, or 10 DPO. I took the one that was in my Up and Up home ovulation kit, and it came back positive. It was a very faint positive, and I figured it's because it's too early. You know, it's 10 DPO. This shouldn't even be coming back positive yet. And I was in just such a shock that I literally just, I was like, maybe it's the lighting in the bathroom, but I took it into my office directly in the sunlight, and it was even more visible. That second line was definitely there. So I was in shock, and I called my best friend, and I was just trying not to cry. Because I was like, it's positive. Like, it's positive, and I just asked her to pray. You know, and yeah, so by the time we got off the phone, things were going well, and that was kind of that for that day. But I was still in shock, and I was still in disbelief. And so a couple days later, I decided, let me just, use one of the tests that I have again, because I wasn't actually planning on testing until after I missed my period. But I was just still in shock, because I was like, there's no way I saw a positive test. Like, I was thinking I was just seeing stuff because I was just so desperate and hopeful that it would finally taken. So I took my clear blue test that comes with my ovulation kit, and that one came back positive too. Also faint, but a lot stronger than my 10 DPO. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is really happening. Like, I'm pregnant. Like, it's positive. But I was still in disbelief, because I don't know, like, I was like, everything's different. I'm not having the insane heartburn, and like, I didn't have a lot of CM like I was having my first time around, and I didn't have morning sickness either. So I was like, this is different. So I tried the next day. It was either the next day or the day after. So it was like cycle day 13 or 14. And this time I went and I bought a test, and it was the first response. So I was like, okay, it's first response. It'll know. I took it, and it also had yet another positive. Still wasn't like a very bold positive, like, ooh, this is stronger than the control line, or matching the control line. It was still a fainter positive, but it was like very easily there. Um, so I was like, okay, I'm pregnant. And I was so excited. I was like, it's finally happening. So I was happy about that. I was so excited. And I wasn't planning on testing anymore after that. Like, I was waiting until after I missed my period to call my OB so we could have scheduled the first sonogram and everything. And so, we were waiting. But a few days later, I was like, I really want to be able to tell my family. Like, I was excited. So I really wanted to tell my brothers. Actually, my oldest brother guessed that I was pregnant the day that I took, like the second day that I took my pregnancy test. And it came back positive. He's like, you're not coming on our trip to Jamaica. Like, you're going to visit family for the 4th of July coming up. Like, you're pregnant. Like, you must be pregnant. You're so obvious. And I was just like, do not tell anybody. Shut up. Don't say anything. He's like, you're so obvious with it. I was like, how am I obvious when I just found out this morning? It's like, oh my God, I'm psychic. So, a whole mess. So I was like, I really wanted to be able to tell my siblings. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get a clear blue pregnancy test because, it's nice, neat, and clean. And it'll say pregnant or not pregnant. My brothers don't, I have all brothers, so they don't have to ask, what does the 2 lines mean? You know? So I got the test and took it so I could take a picture and send it to my brothers. It was a few days after the 3rd positive, and it came back not pregnant. And that was a huge gut punch. And I was in disbelief. And so I told myself, I was like, you know what? It's because I took it later on in the day. It's not my first morning urine. I've been drinking a ton of fluids because literally I was snacking and I was drinking water and Gatorade nonstop. So I was like, I've taken in a lot of fluids. It's not my first morning urine, and I haven't fully missed my period yet. So that's it. That has to be it. I ended up taking the test again the next day with second morning urine because I went to the bathroom at 2 a.m. And then I had to go to the bathroom again a few hours later, but it had been 4 hours, something like that. And so I had taken it with that second morning's urine, not thinking too much of it, came back negative again. So I told myself, it wasn't truly first morning urine. So we're going to try this again tomorrow tomorrow, and we're going to get it right. We're going to do the first morning urine. So the next day comes, I have to use the restroom, but I hold it until it's been at least 4 hours, and I go and it comes back not pregnant. And so I was like, okay, it's happening again. And to add insults to the gut punching injury, when I went to wipe, there was blood. So everything came to an end just as quickly as it started. And sure enough, I was losing again. So yeah, no longer pregnant. This is what would be considered a chemical pregnancy, unlike my missed miscarriage where I didn't have a positive test and it took a couple months for my body to finally process everything. I was 3 or 4 days late, and when the blood finally came, and it was heavier and longer than my regular period, and heavy and just as long as the period from my miscarriage. So I knew it was different. And yeah, on one hand, I will say that it didn't hit as bad as the first time around did. And I think that's because, one, I was still grieving the first IUI. And I wasn't left guessing for weeks, unlike the first IUI. It was, I didn't see it coming, and, just a few days later, I got the negative. So I will say in that aspect, it was different. I didn't really have time for my hopes to be high for too long. My hopes were high. My hopes were very high, but they weren't high for very long before I got all of that information. But it did hit, and I will say the negative thoughts did happen, namely, what the F is wrong with me? What's wrong with my body? I feel kind of bad because I was on the phone with one of my friends, and while on FaceTime, I'm like doing research trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with my body, what's going on with me, because my sperm donor has perfect genetic information, there's nothing wrong with him at all, and I'm the common denominator, so I was trying to do research, and I found all this data about endometriosis that contradicts previous data that I knew of, and basically it's like more updated research and just a whole lot. And then all those negative thoughts come in, and so it sucked. It was hard, and thankfully I didn't tell nearly as many people this time that I was having my IUI, and so there weren't so many people that I had to announce to, so that was a bit easier. But I will say I am in a place, and I have been in a place since the first round where I don't want to hear about other pregnancies and baby showers and things. Not because I'm not happy for people, I genuinely am. But as much as I wish them well, it triggers this thought response in me that's like, what the F is wrong with you? They're able to get pregnant, and their bodies aren't being stupid, for lack of better phrasing. This is just my honest thoughts. And all the negative thoughts come pouring in. So some friends just don't understand. I was not in a good place. I was not in a good headspace, and people were making recommendations like, well, maybe it's time for you to get a surrogate, or maybe it's time for you to ethically, morally consider whether or not continuing to try is the best idea. Take more time, or it's God's will. Like, I get people want to be helpful, but there's just things that you just don't say. There's just things that you don't say. And I get that they mean the best and they mean well, but they don't realize the thoughts that are attached to those. They don't realize what's going on. Yes, I love great news, and I love being happy for other people. But when somebody's going through another miscarriage, or even their first miscarriage, maybe consider that they don't want to hear these recommendations. Maybe they don't want to hear about anybody else's, I don't want to hear it. I'm thinking about stuff for myself, and I just don't want to hear it. And I feel like a horrible person because I love being people's cheerleaders. And I can't be that person right now. because it takes all this energy to hold myself together and continue to smile at work and, get through the day. And I don't have the extra energy, as much as I felt so bad about it. I don't have the extra energy to put a smile on for my friends. I also don't want to tell them what the heck is going on with me, because they know what's going on with me, and I don't want to have to explain it again, you know? So it's just, thankfully, it's not as bad as my first IUI, but it's been rough. But I'm healing. I'm taking care of myself. And I will say, as bad as I felt about doing these videos in delay, like doing this after everything was processed, because I was like, dang, I feel like I'm leading people on and giving them false hope, even though now I know the results. I will say, for my mental health, it was significantly better to wait the couple weeks before posting these videos, just because it gave me some time to catch my breath, because that was it knocked the wind out of me. So, yeah. On a bright note, I will be trying again very soon. And I think I'm just going to keep doing it this way, just the delayed news. This time around, I'll probably tell less people too, even though I only told a few people. There goes the coughing. Even though I told a few people, I'm just going to tell a lot less people this time around. And then everybody can be surprised together. But yeah, that's all I have for y'all today, though. I will see you guys next week.